Today, I'm looking at DesignCap. DesignCap is web-based graphic design software made to simplify and streamline many standard graphic design jobs. If you've got sort of Photoshop on the advanced side and something like Moonpig card design software on the basic side, DesignCap sort of sits between the two. What I'm trying to say really is if you're happy designing a birthday card online, you'll be comfortable in something like DesignCap and you'll be able to get some pretty good results from it. It's never going to replace a skilled hand in Photoshop, but if you need pretty decent quality designs for sort of things like flyers and infographics and Instagram posts, Twitter banners, presentations, even video thumbnails, things like that, this will keep things simple and quick. To compare to maybe a more well-known brand, it's basically like Canva. It's a little cheaper and has slightly fewer things that it can do. So what I'm going to do in this video is walk you kind of through, just take you through and show you what it is. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to just talk about the kind of pros and cons as I see them anyway. I had to play around with this, and I'm a Photoshop user, so I'm not the best person to give you an opinion on this because there are certain things that you get used to when you use something like Photoshop, and I miss many of those using something like this. But hopefully my insight will give you some kind of idea whether this can work for you. So down here, you can see the main four things that DesignCap sort of sells itself on the front page of their site. First one is templates and resources. Get access to countless templates and resources to boost your creativity. And that's absolutely right. I mean, there's loads of stuff on there, loads of icons, shapes, photos, all that, and those kind of things you can sort of do a Google image search on, you can find things online, but to have them all available and accessible in one place in sort of, for example, with icons in a transparent format, vector format that you can change the colors of and whatever is really good. Save time and money? Well, that depends. Depends what you're going to be using this for. But if you do genuinely have a need for creative, then yes, this could definitely save you some time and money. The third one I have a little bit of a problem with because it says no skill needed. And I think for any kind of design work, some skill is needed. I've seen the kind of presentations that people come out with at work. If they're not forced into certain templates and things like that, it gets crazy pretty quickly. People have no idea of what kind of colors work together and things like that. Skill is always required to do this kind of design work. But I think the main thing here is that what they're saying is you don't need any specific skill in a software to come out with some pretty good content. And then the final one is powerful tools, simple yet powerful editing tools to enable you to customize the design the way you want. And yeah, it's amazing what you can do through a browser these days, as far as just a fully functioning bit of software in a browser. It's really good. It's a little confusing how you kind of get into doing your designs in this software. And so you kind of think, oh, okay, you've got your account up here and you've got like my designs there. So yeah, fair enough. You can jump into it there, but you can also go into it via which category you want. And then you can also go into the template section and have a look in there and start with a template, of which there are thousands. I mean, there are loads and loads of templates under all these kind of different categories, which is absolutely brilliant. If you're after some kind of inspiration, you can just pick one of these, start off with this, and you can just have something out in no time at all. Change the colors around a little bit, change the font a bit, change the text, and you've got something usable really, really quickly. The other way you can get into it is by just clicking on DesignCap here, and this takes you first to the home page and get started now. So click here, get started now. And this takes you into a kind of separate entry area where you can look at my designs and new designs. It's all just a little bit confusing. The initial route in from the start of the site is a bit weird. I think that's something that could easily be sorted. So on this screen here, I can pick one of these options. So let's say I did a presentation. It tells me the resolution of this. And if I go into that now, I'm immediately given a blank canvas of that resolution. And then I have a bunch of templates down the left-hand side here where I can start. If I go back to templates and I do custom size, I can type in my own choice, which I'm going to do the same size. So I'm going to do a full HD landscape File. And the only difference now is that I have a blank canvas, but I don't have those templates down the left-hand side. So I kind of think you might as well just start, at least, you might as well just start with one of these. As long as you're okay with the resolution this is giving you, you might as well just start with one of these, because then you have those templates to hand in the left-hand column there. So yeah, we'll just do a presentation to start with and just have a look at that. So I'm not going to start with any of these templates here for now. I'm just going to go through the kind of element section. So first of all, you have on the left-hand side your standard kind of elements to put in: lines, shapes, outline shapes and outline solid shapes, and then a bunch of icons of all different types. And this on the surface looks a little bit limited. You might think, what, is that it? That's all you can do? Like, and you've got a couple of shapes and that's it. But if you actually get sort of a bit creative, you can do a lot with just a few shapes, and then kind of merging different shapes, different lines and different icons together to come up with something decent. And that's where I say no skill is needed. Well, I kind of think you do, don't you? You do need some skill to do that sort of thing. So let's say I wanted to do classic sort of circle here. You get the nice guides to tell you whether it's centered properly or not. And then you can just change the color by going up to here. And let's say you want to pick this blue. You can, of course, do custom colors. So you can add document color. So if I wanted this to be my brand color, which is 30 C5 D5, I can do that. And that's now a document color, and that's available to me anywhere else. So if I chucked in another shape on top here and wanted to change the color of that, I've got that immediately available as a document color, which is good. If I were to add a photo now, well, you can select from a bunch of different categories of photos. This really searches Pixabay. So all these photos are available on Pixabay. If you wanted to go there, you can probably download those for free anyway. But again, having them all here, let's just say countryside. See whether we can have a nice background or something. Yeah, that looks quite serene, doesn't it? There we are. So it comes in as a fairly small image, but don't sort of get the impression that this is the actual resolution of the image. It's not. They're usually fairly good quality. So remember, this is 1920 by 1080, this canvas. So this would be an absolutely tiny image if it came in like that. But if you want to make it bigger, simply drag it out, and there you got your image. And you can change the order of that image up here in the top right hand side and stick that to the bottom. So you've then got your graphics on top of it. Line that up, and then we want to put some text on there as well, don't we? So when we get to the text section, you get given a bunch of templates here that you can use just as a sort of starting point. Nice stuff that's really good just to get something down, and that's what this software is about. It's about just getting something down quickly. And what should we go with? I'll tell you what, I'm just going to put my own text in. So I'm going to add a heading here, and I'm going to just type I'm just going to put a number. I'm going to make this kind of a bit more like an infographic or something. Definitely make that white. And I can increase the size by going up here. You can't click on the arrows here to increase the size, unfortunately. I'd like to be able to click up and down there, or kind of drag something to increase the size and sort of see it while it increases. But you can type in any numbers up to whatever you want, really. You can make it absolutely huge. Change the font to something a little bit more my kind of thing, which would definitely be a sans serif font, maybe a bit of Lato or something, or I don't know, that'll do. And then we're going to go back to elements here on the left, click on icon, and cinema. Got given a bunch of graphics for this, and we have a graphic of a bit of film. Change that to white as well. You can put borders on all this stuff too if you want. And just, oops. And this is one thing that I find quite weird, actually. Sometimes when you've got multiple layers like this, it's a little bit difficult to not grab this layer. So now I've clicked on there, I've got that highlighted. Okay, there we go. So move that down, that's in the center of there. It tells me that's in the center. And fine, Obviously, I'm just doing something to demonstrate how this kind of works. So there we go. It's really easy to get something down, and you can then push it out if you want. Let's just carry this on for a second. I hope you can bear with me for a moment. I'm going to put another shape in here, and I'm going to put this up in the top right-hand corner. I'm going to drag it down like this. I'm going to stick some text on there. You can set these to be different fonts, so your heading and your subheading and things like that. Something here, I'm going to left align that, or maybe no, I'm going to right align that actually, and increase the size of it quite a lot to say 150. Set it to white, and again go to a font. I'm not sure if you can set your default font. I'd really like it if you could do that. And if you wanted to, you could change the opacity of this, make it a little bit less so you can still see the image behind, like that. And there we have something that we can export. And exporting it is really, really straightforward. Just you can save it as a design, or you can download it. And the great thing is, of course, that all this is vector, apart from the image, which won't upscale incredibly well. But all the rest of it is vector. So if you do download it at a high resolution, it'll come out in perfect quality. So now I'm going to download it here, and you can choose JPEG, or if you pay for the service as well, you can choose PNG or PDF. I would definitely recommend it though, because if you're going to pay for the service, PNG is essential for these sort of things, because otherwise these kind of graphics can end up looking a bit weird. So I'm going to select PNG, and you can have a transparent background. Size-wise, you can have extra large or whatever, but you can actually do exports of kind of up to sort of 8K or something like that. So 8K equivalent resolution, 7640 by a lot anyway. So they've kind of catered for pretty decent export sizes with this stuff. Okay, so that sort of gives you an idea of how easy it is to get something down. But let's go back and... Do I want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. And I'm going to show you something else here, because one of the things I really like about this is if I were to go to, I don't know, say Twitter header, you've got all these things, these preset sizes, which it knows are the right sizes to use for Twitter or something, because they all have their preferred resolutions, whether it be a Facebook banner or a Twitter banner or a YouTube cover art. Because what I want to do is show you the module section, because I think this is great. This is a bunch of preset sort of layouts as far as kind of infographics and sort of almost like little sections of websites. So here we have kind of timelines, and I just randomly threw a timeline together, which took me about 10 minutes, and it should be in my saved area. So in my designs, I should have a very quick timeline that I put together in here. And you can see just a really simple timeline where I went to the modules section, brought in this timeline here, and then every single element of it, you can see that, you can change it. So I made it relevant with kind of family, camera, sadness, camera, launch, these kind of things. Everything can be changed. The color, the outlines, all that can be changed. So it's really good in that respect. Okay, so let's talk about some of the limitations of the product, because I think hopefully you've seen from that whether or not this is something that would be useful to you or not. So yeah, I mentioned about the site, the entrance to the site being confusing and unclear, but one of the things that really bugs me and makes this, for me personally, and it might make no difference to you at all, makes this unusable, is the fact you cannot upload fonts to this service. For me, fonts are essential. They're part of sort of the look and feel of the stuff I create. And the fact that I can't upload my own purchased commercial fonts to this makes it sort of no good, because I would like to create thumbnails in here maybe for videos or something, but I can't, because I can't put my fonts in here, and I don't want to use the fonts that are available, of which there are not actually that many. If you look in here, you have a selection of some sans serif, some standard serif fonts, some display fonts, and some handwriting fonts. And if you look at the serif fonts, there really is a pretty small selection. That is it. There's a couple in there that are okay, but there are none that have the kind of clout of either a commercial font, or if you look at, for example, the selection on Canva, it is just mind-boggling. It's huge. I mean, too many, really. You just kind of, you don't know where to start with it. There's no real concept of layers in this software. If you do come from a sort of Photoshop environment, then you'll see this as being a layer, and all these are individual layers. Now, how do I hide this layer? If I just want to sample something and I want to see it without this, how do I turn this on and off? I can't. I can't just sort of turn this off or turn the background off. I have to move it out of the way. I can reduce the opacity of it and change, like, you can do all nice stuff to it. Like, you can put all filters on it. You can change all these settings on the image. It's got great tools like that, and they all work super quick in the browser. Really responsive stuff. But I just want to hide this. Well, how can I hide it? Well, I can't. You can bin it and then undo, maybe. Nope. And you can change. The only concept of layers that it has is this, which is basically just ordering of those layers, you know, what's on top and what's behind. It's a real shame, because that would be a massive, like, really nice addition to it. Also, another big sort of thing for me is I can't find a way, and in fact, there is no way to add a gradient that fades to transparent. Sometimes you might have, say, if I want to just delete all this, you might have this bit of the image. And what I'd like to do here is, because this is a little bit busy at the top here, I can't see the text. I'd like to put a gradient on here that just fades from black and fades to transparent. So you've then got the detail around the grass and the top of this bottom bit of the sky, but you haven't got as much detail here because it's fading into black, basically. You can't do that on this at all. Another thing you can't do to bring text to the foreground, you can't add drop shadows, and you can't add any kind of glow to text. What I would often do in this situation, let's say I had some text over this grass. I mean, that would just be unacceptable as far as it's just way, way too busy. So I would go into here and I would probably say, right, I want to either put a drop shadow on there, probably not, but I'd put a glow on there. And what I would do is put a glow on there that matches the color of this. What I need for that is a color picker, and I have no color picker in here. So if I want to change the color of this text, I'd like to go and just say, right, I want the outer glow to be pretty much this color or this color. But you can't. You can add a color in, but you just have to guess basically what it is. There's no way of picking a color. So a color picker would be nice, drop shadow would be nice, and a glow would be nice. All the document colors in here have to be added manually each time. You can't save any kind of brand stuff, and that's fine, you know, but it would be nice if it kind of could pick out key colors used in assets and have them up here as document colors from the start. So it immediately sees that in your vector stuff, it's using this color primarily. You've got white and you've got, realistically, that's about it. That's all I've found as far as limitations are concerned. It's nothing major, really, because the software works really, really well. And one thing I haven't even shown you here is all the sort of chart stuff you can do on here. And when you create a chart, it actually creates it with proper data. And, you know, it's kind of sort of a spreadsheet environment on which you can change all the colors of the bars and stuff and edit the type of chart. There's just, you know, there's a whole chart editor in here as well. Other backgrounds, just abstract backgrounds you can put on here, which are different from images because you can't edit them once you have them on there. But if I just take that image off now, you'll see it's now got a background on there. Gradient backgrounds you can put on there, which are, I'm not sure the gradients are, yeah, they are editable. That's fine. You can do that, edit the backgrounds. You see these, you can click these up and down. Click these up and down, but you can't do the fonts. Bit weird. But templates, what really makes this software fantastic is, to me, is the modules section with these kind of pre-customized templates with, you know, you'll put your sales team in here and just change it to what you want. And the templates of the actual preset designs there's just tons of them, honestly. These are just presentations. So I've gone into one presentation here, and then this presentation has a bunch of screens in it here. So let's say I want to delete this, starting off on the screen. I mean, this is like a cool presentation. You can do this sort of stuff in PowerPoint now, but this is great. I mean, quality wise, if I put this up at work, this would be a tidy presentation. I'd have to have brand fonts in it, and I'd have to have my brand colors in it, but, you know, it would be decent. And there's all this sort of stuff, you know, just dead easy to just go in, say you want this here. I want to add a page onto here, and I want to yeah, okay, well, I'll show you this. That's right, yeah, there we go. So we've now got, see, these two pages, and I can change everything in it, and change all these images, and change all this text, and change all these colors, change this color to be my brand color like this. It's all really, really, well, it should be really simple. Almost like that. Yeah, there we go. Select that. There we are. See? Immediately looks more like my kind of stuff. Anyway, yeah, so I love this software. It just has a few limitations, that's all. And for £5 a month or whatever, $5 a month, I think it's $5.99 a month, you really can't go wrong. So thank you for sticking with me on this review of DesignCap, or look at DesignCap. If you've got any questions about what you can you do this, can't you do this, fire them to me, because I'll happily have a look and see whether it can be done or not. But yeah, it's pretty good software. I like it. Thanks for watching. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.